There's nobody teaching sales in this country that I'm aware of that tells you to make 300 cold calls a day.
Cold calling still works, it's just not as effective anymore.
I'm going to give you Mark Cuban rule number 1. And whenever you forget this rule, you're already out of business.
Rise and shine, it's espresso time. I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there is something greater inside you as well. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee and sip on today's message from Dan Pena. Also, if you want to have more confidence, check out my 254 series. They're free. The links to join are in the description below.
But no one does know initially, up front. You have to try. You have to swing at the plate.
A kid like you, if you had to keep track of 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, what you do, if you're in sales, make 300 cold calls a day. 300 cold calls a day. And for those
300 cold calls a day.
Correct.
Will it still work
Oh,
nowadays?
absolutely.
Yeah?
We got kids doing
There
it
was
right
a
now.
question.
We even got some lazy Dutch kids doing it right now.
Just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Make
And
the
I mean,
call.
for a Dutch kid, 24 years old, to make 20 cold calls a day, you'd think it's a big deal. There's nobody teaching sales in this country that I'm aware of that tells you to make 300 cold calls a day. In fact, there's nobody on the planet that I'm aware of that tells you to make 300 cold calls a day. I had a guy just do a $50 million deal. He said, Dan, if you had just told me I was 2,000 cold calls away from my first deal, I would have sent you a check for 20 grand and said thank you, and I wouldn't have come to the castle.
Cold calling still works, it's just not as effective anymore. Advertising on cable TV still works, it's just not as effective anymore. Billboards still work, just not as effective anymore. Success in any field will come down to both working smart and working hard. You need both. Lots of people work hard and never get anywhere. They never get results. They stay small, but they're working hard. And lots of people work smart, but they never win because they're not working hard enough. It's the combination. You need both. So the message I take from Dan here is you need to work hard. That you have a goal and you attack it. That if your goal is to call 200 people a day, that you are off attacking that goal, that you're not giving up, that you're not letting excuses get in the way, that you're not letting other people's judgments or say, hey, take it easy. You want a different life than the people around you. And to do that, you need to work hard and attack your goals daily. So that's working hard. But for the working smart part, because remember, we need both, for working smart, I just wouldn't put cold calling at the top of the list of things to generate sales and be effective. Here are the 3 ways that I do it that maybe you can learn from. Number 1 is I create content. I would much rather create content that is a magnet that brings people to me than me having to go chase people down. When you create content like I do on YouTube here, the content you have can generate leads and sales and awareness and attention and distribution and partnerships and media exposure forever, right? I have videos here on YouTube that 10 years ago when I started my channel are still getting views, are still getting subscribers, are still generating attention, are still generating leads for my business. And so the more that you can create content around your theme, your ideas, your message, you're an expert. You've got ideas that are different, right? You've got strategies that are different. You see the world in a different way. Share it with me, tell me. And people will find it and people will come to you. And it's way easier to convert somebody who's coming to you than for you to go off and cold call them. The second way I generate sales is through relationships. So I spend a lot of time on relationships. And this might be counterintuitive because I'm an introvert. And so I'm not out networking. I don't go to networking events. I'm never the guy to introduce myself and say, hey, I'm Evan, what do you do? That is not me. I don't talk to the person on the elevator or on the dog walk or on the airplane next to me. Not on the airplane next to me. You can't do that. On the airplane seat next to me. I don't do that. I'm introverted. But I value relationships, and the longer you stay in something, especially when you start to show results and you get good at something, you acquire skills, you start to connect with people. And then I make it a point to try to bring them value. And so I have a list of maybe about 50 people now that every quarter I try to bring some kind of value to. people who've accomplished a lot more than me, a lot of people who I profile on this channel, even guys like Dan Pena and Gary Vee and Mel Robbins and Grant Cardone and Tony Robbins and all these people that I profile that I've built some connection with, I try to find ways to bring them value at least once a quarter. And so I have a simple Evernote file, and I have my key contacts in there. And so I make a point of looking at that Evernote file every week. And if there's somebody who I haven't brought value to in the past 3 months, then I find a way to bring value. I find a way. Maybe I give them a tip on their YouTube strategy. Maybe I reshare something that they're trying to get an exposure for. Maybe I find out that they're doing a new book launch and I try to help out as much as I can. I try to find out something that I know is important to them and figure out a way to add value. And that takes some sleuthing. Some people are a lot easier than others. But doing the work, building the relationships, because those lead to connections, those lead to business growth, those leads to things coming back to you. So quick example with Gary Vee. Gary launched his new wine collection, Empathy Wines, and he's been promoting on his YouTube channel. I'm not a big wine drinker. I don't really know people who are drinking a bunch of wine. My dad makes his own wine. So I could be a customer, I guess. I could buy a bottle a week or whatever his program is, but more important is, can I be a distribution for you? And so I messaged him and his team and said, hey, I mean, we do a lot of Gary videos. Do you want to have a custom message? Can we put something at the end of it that talks about Empathy Wines? And so he sat down with his team and he filmed this video.
Evan, thank you so much for having a couple seconds and being able to tell the Believe Nation a little bit about Empathy Wines. It means a lot to me that you would take this valuable real estate and time on your channel to give me some love. It means a lot. It's just good karma points.
And it's in that, it's the major karma points for you, right? That's what I want for you guys. I want people to feel like, not that they owe you karma points, but that you're giving them so much value, that you're a name, that when you ask for something, because eventually you're gonna need help, right? Nobody's an island, that they wanna open that email, that they will struggle to try to find a way to help you because you've given them so much value. And so make a list. Mine's about 50 people, make however long a list you want, of people that you wanna stay in touch with, you wanna bring value to, you wanna find ways to help them out, that you're following them on social media and you're seeing what they're paying attention to and where they're engaged and what they're talking about, and then try to find a way to help them when they need help. That gives you major karma points, and that's gonna come back to really help your business grow. Building the relationships. And then step number 3 for me is I speak. So speaking at events, speaking at paid events where I travel around the world, or my own events where I do my tours. Now did the 2019 tour, planning 2020 tour, 90 days, 23 cities, East Coast, Texas, maybe Mexico. Doing free events here in Toronto where I speak once a week when I'm in the city, speaking. You can record it, that becomes content, back to point number 1 of make content. But speaking at events, it gives you authority, it connects people to you. People wanna come up and talk to you afterwards. That leads to a lot of business opportunities. You're an expert, you're a genius, you have ideas that people need to hear. And so look at different events that you can either host yourself or you can get on stage where other people are hosting, whether you get paid or not, just to build the experience, to build the credibility, and build the contacts to be seen as the go-to person for XYZ in your industry. So it's that combination of working both hard and smart. It's not one or the other. Successful people do both. You've got to find out what that combination is going to be for you. Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I want to know, what smart thing are you going to be working hard on? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video and you're going to take some action immediately after watching it, give me a hashtag believe in the comments below too.
I'm going to give you Mark Cuban rule number 1. And whenever you forget this rule, you're already out of business. In every business, sales cures all. Has anybody ever heard of a business that had 0 sales that was successful? Doesn't happen. Yet a lot of people start their business thinking, I have a great idea. I'm gonna do this. This is amazing. I'm gonna go raise money. I just sold this idea. And then it comes back and it's like, okay, you gotta sell that product or you gotta sell that service. That's the first and main key to a successful business. When you're getting ready to start, you have to answer that question.
You guys don't like sales because you ain't got any courage. That's why you want to be the vice president of something. That's why you guys want to call it something else, okay? Most of you in the room don't even have sales on your card. You sell real estate for Remax, okay, or Keller. and you don't even have sales on the card. You're in network marketing. You refused. We don't do sales here. What do you do then, okay? What do you do? I mean, I think the company's got a financial statement. You ever read a financial statement? What's the first line on a financial statement? Huh? What's that first line? It's the first line, by the way, okay? I've seen a bunch of income statements in my life. The first ones are like 2 to maybe max 4 inches long. Big companies, big giant companies, okay? I got 5 companies, they run to one financial statement, and the top line, the sales line, you could call it, I think it's called also what, revenue? Could be called gross revenue, okay? You know people are getting confused now. Okay, they start getting away from this word. Some college guy came in and said, we can't call it sales, man. We got to call it something like at least 2 or 3 words. I mean, I went to Harvard. It's not about how much money you make, folks. Can you use money? Can you use it, okay? Look, these top lines right here are about income. If you hate sales, you hate income.
If you want to learn how to be more tough like Dan Pena, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Enlisted men going through boot camp have safeguards that they pull. We're lucky we don't go to war with Russia. They'll eat our lunch.